And then my wife comes to the fucking hospital, dude. And she's sitting there, man, and like there's a whole team of doctors there, bro. It's so crazy.
Walking into that, like how are you able to rationalize and not have that imposter syndrome walking into a room like that to speak?
Yeah, well, first of all, after everything I've been through, my brother, I have no more fear. That's number one. That's been completely gone. And then my life experience, like I've been through so much in my life. I've earned my seat. I've earned my seat here. I've earned my seat on that stage.
Yeah.
You know, I've been through it, man. So.
Right. It's funny. I remember I spoke at Texas State one time, and I'm sitting there talking to all these social, soon-to-be social workers and all that. And I'm telling them my story, their eyes bugging out of their head. And one thing I said to them, I was like, you guys are all here to get your education. I got an education too. I just happened to choose the streets to get my education. Correct. In all honesty, I'm willing to say I probably spent a lot more on my education than y'all spent on yours. And they were laughing. It took them a second to get it, but then when they understood, they're like, oh. But yeah, my brand of comedy sometimes isn't for the regular folks that don't know about the recovery world. But bro, so you've had, you and I linked up a couple months ago.
Even longer. I reached out to you in the summer. When I got out of the hospital, I called you.
Right. Yeah,
because Brittany Bask reached out. She said, you got to reach out to this dude, Sean. Yeah. So I did reach out to you, but I was still like healing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
literally just had heart surgery. I
had heart transplant.
Yeah, heart transplant, not surgery. I'd heard your name for years in the recovery community and stuff like that, but from our first phone conversation, I saw we were very aligned with the way we kind of look at the world, look at recovery, look at ourselves when it comes to getting in the gym or anything like that. And I was like, all right, we're speaking the same language. I can get down with him. And then every time we've met since then, it's just been continuing to build on that.
I feel that way.
And so, I mean, obviously, you can tell as soon as you talk, you're from New York. Is that where, like, this all started for you, and as far as recovery goes, and as far as, taking you down that life trajectory?
Well, no. Recovery did not start in New York. Recovery started in Austin, Texas in 2006. But what molded me in my life was growing up in New York. Mm-hmm. Growing up, I grew up in a family bakery. It's been there since 1903. Come from an Italian background. So growing up in that business, we were blue-collar workers. It was a hard life. I grew up in the Lower East Side of Manhattan in the early 80s. I was born in 1979, and crack cocaine hit that area real hard during that time. And I grew up on Elizabeth Street in between Houston and Bleecker, around the corner from CBGB's, the old punk rock club.
Okay.
And on the corner of Bleecker Street was where the spot was. So there was always shootouts when crack came out. And I don't get into all of the craziness of life back then, but at the time, like, the things that kept that neighborhood safe, because the city was so lawless, was the mafia. Mm-hmm. And growing up in an Italian family, it was prevalent in my neighborhood. Yeah. As a kid, I would watch my father tell and my uncles tell whoever was met doing any type of illegal behavior or drugs in front of the building that I grew up in, because I grew up in the building above the bakery on Elizabeth Street. He would tell them, listen, you got to go down the street to do this stuff. And if they didn't comply, and here I am like a 4 or 5-year-old kid watching this, we would keep a bunch of baseball bats outside of in front of the bakery. So when they didn't comply, street justice would take place. And at 4 or 5 years old, I would watch guys get their heads split open with baseball bats. Yeah. That was kind of how the world was shaped for me as a child. Things weren't safe in my neighborhood. As a kid, I would ride the subway and my mother would say, keep your head down and don't make eye contact with nobody. Mm-hmm. So to me, the world that I grew up in wasn't safe. My home life wasn't really peaches. Yeah. Dad was involved with the street. He was a street guy. I love my father to death. He's been the biggest influence in my life. He's no longer with us. But, he was a product of his environment. He lost his mother at 14 years old and went to work. He dropped out of high school and started working at the bakery making bread, a 14-year-old kid, you know. So he had a hard life. And growing up in that, there was a lot of violence in the neighborhood. There was a lot of violence in my home. There was drug addiction in my home. And things just were crazy, So again, as a child, my life was shaped to be like very unsafe and not trustworthy, and don't talk about nothing.
Right.
You know, do not talk about anything.
Yeah.
Don't talk about what dad's doing. Don't talk about the illegal street activities. Don't talk about him getting high on cocaine. Because my father was a cocaine binge user.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nobody really knew that he was getting high like that. I knew.
Right.
You know, the family knew. Which is another thing, but I don't want to get into all that shit either.
Right. One thing you said that hits home with me is talking about, like, you know, your dad working at a bakery at 14. You know, I remember I'm sure you started working early. I got my first job at 14 working for a catering service, $4 an hour under the table. But it's funny, like, you know, you'd be hard pressed to find more prideful people than people from New York. And, you know, I grew up near Youngstown, Ohio. My father's upstate New York, so I would flip-flop back and forth. And I joke with people all the time. They ask me where I'm from, and I say Youngstown, Ohio. And it's funny, like, I'm so proud to be from there, but I have no idea why. Like, it's just, there's not anything there. It's fucking, you know, crime, murder, drugs. Like, it's not good. Look up Youngstown, Ohio. It's not great. There's a university there. That's the only thing that's there. But, you know, once the steel industry went down in my area, it just decimated the area. Oxycontin hit. But I'm so proud to be from there. And you just saying that, like, maybe it is the blue collar mentality, like knowing how we come up, watching my stepfather go in and out of steel mills every single day for 30 years. You know what I mean? Like, that's probably what it is. You know what I mean? And you growing up in a very similar way, but on a bigger scale in New York, how could you not be proud of where your family comes from?
I'm proud of even my father, even with all the bad.
Right.
He showed up. Listen to me, my father he took care of that bakery. He worked his ass off. I watched him work literally, bro. There would be nights that he worked the whole night making bread, and then a worker wouldn't show up, and then he'd be out delivering the bread.
Yep.
24/7. I've done that with him a few times, but I wasn't until the level that he was.
Right.
So, like, watching my father, and then even through all of his, like, hardships, because he was a street guy and involved with organized crime, every time that he would take a pinch, right? Like, I know it's, like, crazy, but, like, to watch him still overcome that, every time, like, everything was taken away, he never faltered. He stood up.
When you're saying take a pinch, you're talking about getting busted by the cops.
Yeah, and they take everything.
Yeah.
When they do that, they don't just arrest you. They seize all your assets. They bankrupt you. That's what they do. So every time that would happen to him, I watched his resilience. As crazy as that is.
Oh, I know what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It taught me intestinal fortitude. It taught me never give up. It taught me show up. You know?
Yeah.
It taught me a lot of things. A lot of stuff he taught me was not correct. So I leave that aside, and the good that my father taught me, I bring that, and I bring that into my home. I bring that into my life. I bring that into my work life. My father was a hustler. He was a moneymaker.
Yeah.
So everything I learned from him, man.
Right.
You know, the good and the bad. He molded my life more than anybody else.
Yeah. It's very much like that for me, too. My real father, you know what I mean? He's a partier, but worked his ass off. He didn't miss work. Worked day in, day out, cutting trees, you know what I mean? Watching him taught me hard work ethic and all that. And so it's being able to take those people in life, and, you know, everything that I was taught by older people wasn't always the best stuff, but it's like being able to pick and choose, like, all right, no, this is, I want this, I want this, I want this, and being able to bring it as a collective. So, dude, coming up in New York, you know, I remember the first time I saw the movie Kids. And I was like,
remember that? You remember that?
Bro,
I remember watching this at Square Park.
Dude, my mom would take me to that. This is back when they had it would be Friday night, you go to the video store. So you get a couple VHSs before DVDs.
Yeah.
And I remember she's like, hey, this looks like a good movie. Like, we should rent this. And I was like, all right, cool. And we rent it, and I go up in my room and watch it, and it's the opening scene, and, you know, he's talking about what he's talking about like that. And I'm like, what is this? This is life in New York? I'm in. And I mean, it's a great movie, crazy movie. But, dude, I was just New York was one of the major influences on me, even just going upstate for music and culture. And just everything. Yeah. It just always fascinated me. So, bro, I don't even know if you could put it into words.
Even that, like, there's another thing I don't really tell people. Like, I grew up down the street from the first ever Def Jam Studios.
Really?
So the original Def Jam Studios were Rick Rubin was on Elizabeth Street. You can look it up. Yeah. So, like, as a kid, I met all these dudes.
I'm jealous.
That's why I love hip hop so much, because I grew up with it. You know, like, literally, like, Flavor Flav. I got his autograph. Public Enemy. All these dudes. LL Cool J. I met everybody, dude. As a kid. Yeah. So hip hop was and hip hop was just coming up at that time when I was living down there. You know,
And bro, so you're in New York during the crack era, fucking, you know what I mean? I've watched countless documentaries on that. At what point or how did drugs start coming into your life and get a hold of you?
so my father was involved. He was one of the biggest pot dealers in New York City.
Pot, you said?
Pot, yeah,
Okay.
racketeering, pot, gambling, all that shit.
Okay.
You know, associate, not a made man. So there was always candy in the house, man. You know, and there was always there was a lot of violence in my home. There was a lot of instability in my home. There wasn't much love in my home, but there was drugs in my home. And when I found marijuana at like 12 years old, I was like, you know what? This is it. You know, like I'm gonna do this shit every day because like now I gotta go home. I gotta go home to this fucking chaos.
Yeah.
It was fucking chaotic, bro. My home life was very dark. As much as I love my father, he had his own demons, and he never battled them. So it always spilled over into our home.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of darkness in the home. And the only way I knew at that age to regulate my central nervous system, bro, was to get high. You know, so from 12 years old, man, I got high every day up until 31. But I had a little bit of a break in there where I had about a year sober. But then when we moved out to Staten Island, and I was in my high school years, I started messing with the pills. The pills started to come out, right? And
So up to that point, it was weed?
it was
Alcohol?
weed, alcohol. I mean, I did my like mescaline and trippy stuff when I was younger.
All the auxiliary drugs.
Yeah, but I wouldn't even call myself an addict until
Right.
my 20s. I actually remember the day that it happened because it was, I remember sports for some reason. It was the first year that the Astros opened up Minute Maid Park, and I remember I was with my girlfriend, who's my wife now, and I remember I was taking the Percocet 10s, right? And I've been taking them for a while. And that night, I'm watching the game, and I'm like, man, I'm sick. I don't got these pills. I'm like, what the fuck's going on with me right now? You know? And I'm like, I can't let people know.
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't let no one know because in my neighborhood, Sean, I was looked up to, bro. I was tough. I had like the street backing. You know what I mean? Like my cousins was made men. I had fucking my father who was involved. So I was looked up to in the neighborhood, not for the right reasons.
Yeah.
For the neighborhood, we had more than others, but not really. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought we had.
Yeah.
So you see what real stuff is.
Right.
You know, so we were looked up to for the wrong reason. So there was no way I was gonna ever tell you that I'm weak, and I got in my mind that I'm weak and I have a problem. So I kept that down low for a long time until the cat came out of the bag, bro. Like I overdosed. You know, one night I was in Staten Island. My friend had opened up a deli. We were out drinking, partying, and I popped some pills. I didn't know what they were because I just was a pill addict. It was methadone. And it was funny because at the time, again, I would do
You OD'd on methadone?
methadone, Xanax, and alcohol.
Okay.
So I mixed all of it. Yeah. It was a mixture.
Lucky you didn't die.
Well, I did. So here's what happened.
Okay.
So at the time I was married. I wasn't married to my wife. We've been together since we're 17. All right, I'm 44. So she was down in the other side of Staten Island. I was living at my parents. And for whatever reason, that night she felt something was wrong with me. And I'm listening to the Dipset anthem. That's all I remember last thing. Dipset anthem. Next thing I know, I wake up, I'm in the hospital. I'm like 50 Cent in the hospital, in the club, all the stuff all over me. And I'm in ICU. And the nurse, I remember telling me, you got to drink this or you're going to die. And I drank the charcoal. But my wife felt at the time that something was wrong with me. So she left her house, which she would never do. That's how I know God is on my side, bro. There's bigger things that he got for me right now.
Yeah.
Because there's been so many examples of him showing his love towards me and keeping me here for bigger things outside of myself, you know, to use me as a tool to help others.
Right.
And she came to the house, man. She felt something was wrong, and I was dead in the car. She opened the door.
Oh, shit.
Yes, bro.
Wow.
Yes. And she opened the door. That's why it's not my first time with death. And she opened the door, and my dad was in the house, and he threw me in the car.
So she just randomly thought something
Bro,
was wrong with you.
she felt it.
And then
Energy.
just showed up, which is uncharacteristic of her, and found you dead.
And found me dead, bro.
Holy fuck.
Yes.
That's wild.
Wild. Fucking wild.
Thank God.
Yeah. And then I lived.
Right.
And then the cat was out of the bag.
Yeah.
you know? So it was like, all right, you're going to treatment now.
Right.
So I did that dance for like 3 years.
Right.
Every year I would go to treatment, get a little clean, get fat. I call it getting fat for the slaughter.
Yeah.
Because like when you go in and you just go to treatment and you're not doing any internal work,
Yeah.
you're getting healthy, you feel good, you're doing your push-ups, you're in the gym, you're eating good, you go to your groups, but you're not really doing no fucking work.
Right.
So I'm getting fat for the slaughter. I got no solution, dude. They telling me go to meetings, meeting makers make it, and I'm gonna, I'm going into meetings in Staten Island, bro, and I'll be honest with you, it was like these dudes that are like my age now that were fucking miserable.
Right.
So I was like, man, I don't want to be in here, And then finally in 2006, after a third time going to the same facility in upstate New York, they said, you know what, you need longer term care. There's this place opening up in Elgin, Texas. It's a brand new facility, but this guy, Mark Houston's been there, and he's they're going to teach you all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. And I get on the phone with the guy, Mark. He's like supposedly some big guy, which I didn't give two shits at the time. You know, I'm a drug addict, street guy. And he's like, we're going to work on getting, cleaning and working out. And I said, listen to me. I don't give a shit about none of that. Do you have a gym? The only way I'm coming there for 3 months is if you got a gym. And it's funny because the gym has been the theme of my life, and it's literally saved my life, Sean. Like, the gym saved my life.
Yeah.
Like, the pain of my childhood put me into the gym because it gave me an outlet. It helped me also to build up. I was a smaller kid in New York City public school, so I had to fight a lot, bro. Right. And once I started to hit the gym and I started to hit dudes, it was a little different, the outcome. So the gym was always, like, the pain of my life put me into the gym, Yeah. And it's crazy because that pain of my life got me into fucking treatment, which gave me a whole new life. Because when I went to that treatment center, we did work.
Yeah.
It was about accountability. It was about discipline. I love discipline. It was about discipline. It was about showing up every day, loving you enough to tell you the fucking truth about you, dude. Yeah. Like, hey, bro, I don't think this shit is going good with what you're doing. I think you maybe should do this. And dudes ain't got their defense mechanisms up. They want to grow, And then we got to work on these steps, right? And I got to have an experience with God for the first time in my life. Yeah. My whole shit shifted at that time, but I failed to water it. See, that's the thing that I'm clear on today, dude. Like, that relapse needed to happen because I never watered the plant. I didn't live in the disciplines. I wasn't about constant evolution and elevation. I thought that, well, man, I got a year sober now, right? I'm working in a treatment center. I got a sponsor. I don't really do fucking much work with the dude. I got a service commitment, but I'm not really in prayer and meditation. I'm not really looking at my day and reviewing it. You know what I mean? I'm not connecting to God, but because my external world is starting to look good, I think that I'm okay, right? But what happens is for a dude like me, when I'm not in constant evolution and elevation, I start showing up with the mind that put me in the fucking hospital with the OD, dog. Right. And I think because I'm showing up to you that I'm showing up, but I'm showing up in self and I don't even know it, bro. Yeah. And that's the delusion that most people fucking suffer from unless we stay in the work, unless we get brothers that will fucking call us on our shit. Dude, that's why I got love for you, because I feel like that with you, bro. Right, I feel like we could be that and fucking grow on some real shit, real brotherhood shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I definitely get it.
And it's constant elevation and evolution. That's what this shit is about for me, bro. And my father, watching him go through all the fucking hardship in his life, gave me the mindset that I'm gonna fucking go through it. Right. You know what I'm saying? Nothing's stopping me. No matter what life throws at me, even a heart transplant, nothing's fucking stopping me. Right. I'm so delusional that I think so big right now, and I feel like I could do anything. Yeah. I don't know, we went off topic with that shit, but I just go like that sometimes.
Good, no, it's easy to tell you're speaking with passion, you're speaking from experience and stuff. Yeah. What you're saying is so important. I work with clients every day, I talk with them, and I try to get them, because they get into treatment, they start doing a little work on themselves. I get them in the gym, I'm working with them, you know what I mean, working with them on life stuff. They get a sponsor, they're doing step work, I'm working with them, being able to give them like real life, you know what I mean? I'm not really throwing big book cliche, big book stuff at them. I'm giving them the other side of the coin. And so I watch it make this difference with them. And then I have to give them the real, shout out to my boy Peter, because the first time I heard him say this is the statistics of what is somebody's success rate going to 30 days in treatment and not doing anything afterwards. And I heard him say that, and he said 0.02, and my jaw hit the fucking floor. And I knew the statistics weren't in our favor at all, but I didn't know they were that slim. And so it's like, dude, you feel good right now, but you need to realize like you're in a bubble. It's easy to feel good here, right? But what are you doing when you get out of here? Are you going to surround yourself with the right people? You know what I mean? All the things you're talking about, and it took you numerous times to fucking get it. It took me numerous times to fucking get it. And now I can't even think of another way to like live my life. Like I need real motherfuckers around me. Absolutely. You know what I mean? I need people that are willing to call me on my shit because most people aren't.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I'm sure the way you carry yourself, most people aren't willing to call you on your shit, but it's the dudes and men and women in our life that truly love us. They're going to tell us that hard shit that I need to fucking hear.
Absolutely, bro.
You know what I mean? Because I don't want to. There was a time where I would have loved to walk around in the delusion that everything's fine. I'm good. I'm showing up well, but I'm living in self. But everyone's afraid to tell me. You know what I mean? But I'm happy to be at a point in my life now where it's like, no, like somebody will check you and it's like, oh shit, like you're right. And I'm grown enough now and mature enough now in life and in sobriety to be like, you know what? You're fucking right.
Absolutely.
You're absolutely
but
right.
I have to respect you before I could do that.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, like, I'm not going to do that to somebody I don't
know. No. Right. Like and that's the other thing I like to, like, recovery is a beautiful thing. It is. I think there's more. I think that there's more than just recovery in life. I think that sometimes we settle, people in recovery, or that we don't deserve to fucking live abundantly or to be a fucking millionaire. Why not? Right. Why don't we talk about this stuff?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Why not? Well, God wants you to live abundantly. It's just that you got to look at, like, am I driving the car or is the car driving me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, the first time that you got put on my radar and I looked you up and I saw the live abundantly, live in abundance. At first, when I heard that, I was like, I don't know about that. But then once I got with you and heard you start to explain it, I'm like, you know what? He's right. Like, are you somebody that's just, you get sober and that's good? Like, I'm good now. I'm sober. I'm just going to go on. I'm going to get my little 9 to 5 and I'm just going to do my thing. Like, is that, if that's enough for you, cool. Like, I hope you're happy.
Yeah, that's
stuff
good.
Like that. It's not enough for me.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
I want to soak every ounce of this life out of it. I want to travel. I want to do all the things that.
Dude, I've gotten you know better than anybody. I know you feel the same way. I've gotten second, third, fourth, fifth chance at life, but eventually it fucking clicked for me, and I realized like, yo, this is my last fucking shot, and so I'm not gonna squander these opportunities. I'm gonna get outside of my comfort zone. I'm gonna push harder or past what other people are willing to push and do.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because like, bro, this whole life that you live, this whole life that I live has conditioned me to be able to be comfortable being uncomfortable. You know what I mean? And so like, I'm going to utilize that every time. I was just talking on another podcast about there's a Freddie Gibbs song. I don't know if you know Freddie Gibbs, but he talks about, I took it to a lot of levels that other people wouldn't go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, yo, that speaks to me.
And a lot of people hate on that, Sean.
Yeah.
A lot of people hate on that. You know what I mean? I'm the dude that's like, I fucking root you on in any way that I can help you to get to the next level. I'm going to do it. And I'm the dude that's like, you're fucking killing it. I want to learn from you. I'm going to have enough humility to come to you and ask you a million fucking questions because I want to get better every day. Yep. And how I get better is by being around people that are better and smarter than me and asking them questions and learning from them.
1,000%.
You know what I mean?
1,000%.
I met this guy a long time ago, and I was with Mike Tadashi in Manhattan. This guy's named Neil Holt. He was the vice president of Viacom. Okay, this guy's obviously making a lot of money. He's very successful. Like, I want to sit and ask him a million damn questions. And I did. I said, what do you contribute to your success? And he said, I don't want to go on this big thing, but it's a pretty cool story, and I'm going to share it. He says, there was this show that started in the 80s. I was an intern. It was called Saturday Night Live. So I get on this show. It's Saturday Night Live, and I really wanted to be in sports broadcasting, but they were like, you're a new kid. There's no way. Yeah. He's like, I kept calling. I finally got an interview with the head of NBC NBC Sports, and the guy goes, kid, you're way too young. There's no way I'm doing this with you, right? He waited 4 years. He's like, I waited 4 years with that Saturday Night Live. He's like, I went. He's like, there was this new network that came out called Cable, and there was a new program called ESPN. He's like, I went and interviewed. The guy that was the same interviewer for me at NBC was now at ESPN. He said, you're hired.
No shit.
He said the 3 most important things in business, and I'll never forget this, right? Because I don't forget this. When I'm around a winner, I want to soak it all up.
Yeah.
He said the 3 most important things for you in life and business is your reputation, your relationships, and persistence, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I want to be around people like that.
Yep.
I want to learn from people that are better than me. You know, I talk about it a lot, like health being about like fitness and what we put into our body, but it's bigger than that, dog. It's about the people we surround ourselves with.
Yep.
It's about the conversations we have. It's about the books we're reading, the music we listen to. Like if I throw on some Wu-Tang right now, man, we're going to get into some, you know, but if we throw on some country music, we're going to get a whole different vibe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's about like, what are you ingesting into your body on a daily basis?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that will create your reality,
Mm-hmm.
you know? What you surround yourself with and your daily habits are going to create your reality.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people in life lack vision. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think that we all, and I did for a long time too. I think that's why I was all over the place, right? Like that's why I was using drugs and alcohol. We don't have a vision for what we want our life to be.
Yeah.
I think once we get clear on your vision and then you step into your purpose, your life becomes so abundant that you don't want to escape this life. And you want to constantly evolve and elevate and learn. The more that we tap into that. Mm-hmm. I was talking to a buddy of mine the other day, and he was telling me that his son all he wants for his son is to be happy. And that's not what I want for my son. What I want is for him to constantly focus on evolving and elevating. The byproduct of that will be success and happiness. Mm-hmm. If you continuously invest in yourself on a daily basis and make those agreements with yourself, no matter fucking what, even if you're in facing death, you still show up in these fucking principles. When I was facing death in the fucking hospital, Sean, okay, you know what I needed? Love. I felt so alone, dude. I'm like, I can't believe this is happening to me. How do I get love? I got off my ass and I started walking around the unit, giving love to the other patients, giving love to the fucking nurses. And I got love back, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Put good energy out. You get
And
it
it's
right
because
back.
my swords has always been fucking sharp, bro.
Yeah.
Because I knew constant elevation and evolution. That's what our purpose is, bro, as human beings. And especially people in recovery. We either growing or dying. There's no middle ground. Go back, and I learned that lesson, right? We got ways to learn lessons. I'm hard-headed, right? A lot of times I had to learn my lessons through my own experience. Now I get to sit back and watch other people.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to do that no more.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
I'll let you make the mistake and watch you, and I'm not going to make it no more.
Yeah.
You know?
And now I'm far enough along in life where I'm willing to do that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Willing to not only learn from my own mistakes, but other people's as well.
Absolutely.
And being in tune enough to see them when they're happening. Dude, you've one thing that's inspired the hell out of me is watching your journey over these past couple months. You know, you were a gym guy before, you know, big, muscular, everything like that, and then all of a sudden you have this heart condition I want you to talk about, and it took you right down. But when you and I first talked on the phone, fucking, you had just gotten out of your procedure, just got out, and you were
days,
doing.
I was on the treadmill, telling you.
Dude, you were on the treadmill.
I'm doing 4 miles today. I'm like 3 days out of heart transplant at home.
And that's that right there, bro. Because like, I've told people before, and they think it sounds stupid, but I've literally like thrown my back out to the point where I had to walk out of the gym holding stuff because I couldn't hold myself up, and still went to the gym the next day. Was that the smartest thing? Absolutely not. Was it fucking, did I build any muscle? Fuck no. I didn't do any of that. But it was still being willing to do what other people aren't, and I'm still going to fucking show up there, and I'm still going to do what I could do. I'll be able to hit a little bit of arms or something, to be able to, if I can sit down at least, you know, and do that stuff. But bro, like that tenacity, you know what I mean? Like I learned that all from being a fucking addict, from going to prison, like pushing the military, all these things, pushing myself through this uncomfortability. And so, bro, like you took that and took it to a whole nother fucking level with this heart transplant and stuff like that. So please, like, tell them.
I'll tell the whole story. So, it's crazy because we've lived. It's awesome. Let me be honest. It's awesome. I've lived so many lives. Most people live the same life. I've lived like 4, 5. Well, I'll probably live another one. So in May, in last year, 2023, I caught a flu at the end of 22. And so I had this cough lingering. So I'm like, it's probably the flu, right? So it went through January, I still got this cough. Now we live in Central Texas, so there's allergies. So I'm like, all right, let me go to a doctor. Let's see. I go to allergies, give you some allergy medicine. The allergy medicine doesn't work. The cough persists. I flew around the country last year, the beginning of the year. I was in California, Florida, and New York. The cough still persists. I go to another doctor. They put me on. They do a chest X-ray. Everything's clear. They put me on prednisone. The cough's still going on, right? Now I go to a gastro because I had stomach issues. So I'm like, maybe this is happening. I'm losing weight. I'm like, maybe it's because I'm in my 40s. I'm not eating as much. I'm like, my body's maybe changing. But I'm still going to the gym, bro. I'm still putting up like 225 on incline. Like, still like pull-ups. Like, I'll outwork even while I'm freaking dying. I'm like outwork. Like, so I'm like, am I dying? Like, I don't, you know.
What the fuck's going on?
What the fuck's going on? I just have this cough. So I go to gastro, nothing wrong there. Cough's continuing. I'm like, I go to Miami, I come back, and I tell my wife, I'm like, listen, this is getting worse. Like, we gotta like figure something out here. Like, now I'm starting to get nervous. Like, I don't know what's going on. We went to 3 doctors. No one's helping me, and this cough's getting worse now. It's a dry, hacking cough. Finally go to a pulmonologist. He does a test on me and says that I have this rare pneumonia called organizing pneumonia. It was a pneumonia that it's like this rarest form, and they've seen a lot of it since COVID happened. So they put me on all this medication. They put me on antibiotics, and they put me on steroids. And they say I'm going to have to be on steroids for 6 months. I'm going to have to be on high-dose steroids for 6 months, which was, like, terrible at the time, not knowing how bad it's really going to get, you know? I'm like, fuck, I'm going to have to be on these steroids for 6 months, and I'm going to be sick for 6, not knowing my life's about to change. And so I'm
all for a cough.
Off of a cough, bro. How crazy.
Wow.
So and I'm healthy looking, and I'm traveling, and I'm, like, working out, and I'm, you know what I mean? But I have a cough, you know? And so now I'm getting worse and worse and worse, losing weight. I call the doctor because now I'm starting to cough up this orange stuff, okay, which I'd find out later is blood. Tell the pulmonologist, he gives me more medication, okay? I feel hopeless now, bro. I'm like, I'm dying. I'm dying, bro. And I'm telling everyone I'm dying. I'm like telling my wife I'm dying. I'm telling my friends I'm dying. And everyone's like, you're not dying, bro.
All right.
I'm fucking dying.
Which
It was so hopeless, Sean, because it was like, I literally felt like I was dying, and I'm asking people for help, and no one's helping me, not even doctors.
Which everything you had been through in life up to that point, growing up in a rough neighborhood, father, connected, you getting in fights, drug addiction, jail, all these things, and now all of a sudden you're sitting there like, this fucking cough is going to take me down? This is what it is?
This is what it is, bro. So I finally go one night, May 7th, the morning of May 8th, I cough up a half a bottle of blood. So I tell my wife, we gotta go to the doctor. So we go to the doctor that morning, and the pulmonologist is like, what happened to you? I'm like, I've been calling you to tell you what's been happening to me. And he's like, you have to admit to the hospital. So I was in Baylor Scott Way in Lakeway, and they admit me, and they still don't know what's wrong with me. So they're like, oh, this guy has sepsis, which is the worst thing to do to somebody that's in heart failure. They flood me with fluids. Then the nurse on duty put the wrong pick into my arm, and the medication infiltrated my arm, as you could see, this giant blister. So I was in massive pain. A doctor walks in. I'm in there now for like 10 hours, and a doctor finally walks in and goes, this guy's dying. He's got 9% heart, and we got to get him to Baylor Scott and White in Temple, Texas. And I'm like, what, man?
For a cough.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what? And now I got like these 2 dudes like putting me, my wife's with my son. I have no family here. And I got these 2 guys taking me up to fucking Temple, Texas, dude. It's like hour and a half drive. And I'm like, am I going to fucking live? Yo, bro. Holy shit, brother. Yeah. And then my wife comes to the fucking hospital, dude. And she's sitting there, man. And like, there's a whole team of doctors there, bro. It was so crazy. They were all waiting for me. Whole fucking team. My wife comes there with a picture of my kid. And she's like, please live. Please fucking stay alive for him. I got 10 minutes to talk to my wife about finances because I don't know if I'm going to live. Like, how fucking crazy is that, bro?
I can't even imagine.
Yeah, bro, and like talk about, we talk about this shit in AA. We talk about God is everything, God is nothing. Are you really fucking willing to surrender your life, your fucking child, your wife over to God, your life to him? You know what I'm saying? And everything that I did, Sean, in my life, the man that you see in front of you is not the same man that was in that hospital overdosing. I've developed and created a new human being within myself, and it wasn't even for me, bro. It's for my fucking kid. Everything I do is for my kid. He's watching me. So how I show up in life is how he's going to show up in life.
Yep.
And I developed this whole new human being so that him and his future, my life ain't about me, bro. I'm God's offering to the world. And my duty in life is to constantly invest in myself, to be the best version of myself, so that my son and his future generations have a fucking whole new paradigm shift and a whole new outlook on life. My life is about him and his future. So I'm in this damn hospital, and I'm like, am I gonna live? I'm gonna talk about it because it's in my book. I'm writing a book, so it's in my book. I have an out-of-body experience. I leave my body. I live. They save me. I look down at my body and I see my wife and myself in the recovery room now, because I was in another room, but now she's sleeping next to me. And everything's dark, dude. I think I was in purgatory or something, you know? And my friend came down that had gotten killed like 2 years ago in his house on a home invasion. He was with me, taking me up, bro. And fucking whoever it was, God or an angel, was like, we want you up here with us. And I had a vision at that time of my son growing up without me. And I asked God to let me come back for him. And the voice said, you're going to suffer. And at that time, I didn't know what was wrong with me. Like, I didn't know I was going to need a heart transplant. I didn't know I was going to need skin graft, all fucking 4 surgeries and 10 procedures and this new way of life. But I was like, yo, I'm coming back for my kid. You know, and I lived, dude. They saved me, bro. And they had me in the fucking ICU. And I was like, did this really happen? Like, was that maybe delusional? You know, sometimes when you're really sick, you have thoughts that aren't real. But I'll get to that in a second. And so now I'm in the hospital bed for 9 days, bro, with a pump in my groin. They didn't have time to put it in my neck so I could start walking around. When you're in a hospital bed for 9 days, okay, after you had 9% heart, you got to learn how to walk again.
Had you had your heart transplant up to this point?
No.
Okay.
No, brother. I still don't know what's wrong with me.
Okay.
I was in the hospital for 6 weeks.
Right.
I still don't know what's wrong. The doctors don't know what's wrong with me. They actually have me all squared off because they don't know what this orange stuff is. It's blood. They thought I had like some tuberculosis. So the doctors are coming in with hazmat suits. Talk about a episode of Black Mirror.
Right. Holy shit, dude.
I got hazmat suits to talk to me because they think I have some like disease because of the orange stuff I'm spitting up, which is blood. So that's crazy. Now I'm like, I got to think about my son. What do I tell him? What's going to happen in my life? You know what I'm saying? All that starts going with you, bro. So the doctors finally, now I'm starting to learn to walk again. And I'm like, all right, you're here, you are. You've been here before, Frank, right? You ain't been here, but you've been in jail. You've been in treatment. You've been in situations that you don't know what your future looks like. You've been in hard shit, Frank. You're a warrior, bro. This is the internal talk. You're a fucking warrior. Get up. Start squatting with the walker. That is. Start squatting with the walker. Got to build your strength up because you're going to have surgeries, bro. This is the internal dialogue. Not why me. Let's fucking go, bro. We're fighting, right? Learn to walk. Now I'm walking 2 fucking miles a day. Now I'm walking 3 miles a day. Now I'm walking 4 miles a day. Now they're like, yo, we're going to keep this, we're going to put a pump in your chest. We're going to put this really advanced pump. It's called an impeller. It's a pump that goes in my chest. I have the scar right here. They put 13 staples in my chest. Not one ibuprofen. I didn't take nothing.
Right.
13 staples in my chest. I got this giant machine because this pump now is going to calm my heart down and see if my heart could recover. They're talking about heart transplant. The doctor come and talk about heart transplant. I'm eating my eggs. I'm like, yeah, all right, get the fuck out of here. I'm not listening to that. There's no way, bro. I don't need a heart transplant. What are you talking about? It's probably something else. And so they come in every morning. I'm eating my eggs. Talking about heart transplant every fucking morning. I'm like, fuck you. I'm not doing this.
Are you still at 9% at this point?
Now it's raising because I have
bit?
the pump.
Okay.
So it's at like 25, You know, your heart, they want your heart to function at like 60 or above, you know? So it's functioning. So then I finally go down to the cath lab. And by the way, the nurses got me a Superman cape. Because when I was in there, like I told you, like I was walking around and encouraging the patients. Because it's not dude, you got to realize I was there 6 weeks. You know how many code blues I heard?
Right.
That means people are dead.
Yeah.
Like am I going to die?
Yeah. It's not a happy place.
It's not a happy place, bro. But I knew if I give love to others, I'm going to receive it. I knew if I'm going to get out of myself, if I could think of you, I'm going to do better here.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because that's why I do love the 12 steps, not to get off this shit, but like, because getting out of self helps us to think intuitively.
Yeah.
We get the God-inspired thoughts. And a lot of my thoughts that were God-inspired were in that fucking ICU that I'm doing now and making a reality, like writing a book about my life and doing public speaking and podcasts. This is shit I would never do.
Yeah.
But because I went through that experience, I'm doing all this shit. You know, so now we're back in there and I go down to the another whatever procedure room I'm in, and they're going to check to see if my heart's going to make it or not. Mind you, I have this giant wound on my arm that has to get cleaned out. That's going to have to go for a debridement at some point because I'm going to need skin graft surgery. So all that's running through my head because once you do get a heart transplant, you're for the rest of your life, your immune system's shot. So I'm like, am I going to lose my arm? Is my arm going to kill me? From like, dude, yo.
It's wild.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
Yeah. No one could complain to me. So...
I don't want to hear shit.
Don't fucking tell me shit, bro. Right. So now we go down, and I remember Dr. Hassan, man. He's like, yeah, your heart's dead. Like, bro, what? My heart's dead? So I go back up. It's like, now I have, this is the crazy part, Sean. I book a medium. Mediums have been like in my life. I don't know, man. I don't know what past life I've had or whatever the fuck it is, but I tap into weird shit, dude. And this medium's in my life. I have this appointment with this medium 5 months in advance, but she's booked out. So I May 18th, I have this fucking appointment with this medium.
So you had used the medium before?
I've used the medium before.
Because there's a lot of people watching this that would probably be like, what? Like, that seems like an obscure thing to do, but I have to imagine.
Well, what happened was...
When you're unable to get the answers you need, you're willing to go fucking anywhere, right?
Absolutely, brother. Yeah. Absolutely. I've used the medium before. My wife and I lost a baby at like 5 months. So my friend got me a medium with that, and I actually spoke to my child. Trippy shit. Edit whatever the fuck you want, but this is my fucking life. It's fucking crazy. Yeah. So anyway, I get on the phone with this woman, and my wife's like, I don't really want you to do this. I'm like, I'm doing it. I don't care. Bro, she's like, and that's why it made me think, like, the out-of-body experience, maybe it wasn't real. This solidified it. She goes like this. I think I told you this story before. She knew everything about my father. I'm talking to my father. I'm in Temple, Texas, all right? Temple, Texas is like a town of 40,000 people.
It's wild that I lived there for multiple years. Go ahead.
You've been there, okay?
Yeah. I shot many a dope there.
So you know Baylor Scott and White right there, right?
I've been to Baylor Scott and White OD'd. I've been on their crazy floor numerous times. I've kicked dope there numerous times.
Okay. So it's in the middle of fucking nowhere. Yeah. It's the second best heart team in the state. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. It's in the middle of fucking nowhere. So I'm on the phone with the medium, and she goes, all my, just so you're aware, all of the doctors were from Mount Sinai in New York. They all were from New York, and they were in Texas during this time.
Yeah.
So she goes, she knew everything about my father, but then the one thing that she was, tripped me out, she goes, all your doctors are there from New York, aren't they? I go, yeah. She goes, yeah, your father sent them there for you.
No shit. No shit. That's wild.
And then it gets even more trippy. My father, I didn't know my father's mother. She's telling me that he keeps telling me there's a birthday coming up and a pendant and a chain. And I'm like, so after the thing, I told my mother everything. She came to visit me in the hospital. I'm like, this woman had everything right about Daddy except this birthday and pendant and chain. And she goes, it was May 19th. She goes, today's your grandmother's birthday. Wow. I never knew that. I'm like, what about this pendant and chain? She goes, when your dad died, your Aunt Dolores gave me a pendant and a chain of his mother. I gave it to Aunt Camille. I FaceTime my aunt. She's wearing the fucking pendant and chain.
Really?
Dude. It's just, you can't make this shit up.
Yeah, that's wild.
Wild shit, bro. Wild, trippy shit. Wild, trippy shit. So now we move forward, and now June 1st, they're like, you got to debride your arm. So I got to go in for another surgery. They made my arm go that much down. Like, that's how much meat was missing in the arm.
Okay.
So they debride it. Now I'm getting on a heart transplant list because I need a heart transplant. So when they do a heart transplant, they make you see psychologists, they make you see social workers, colonoscopy, your teeth, blood pressure, massive amounts of tests. Then they meet they want to know what you do for a living. They want to know everything. Because they're not going to give people that have comorbidities or any type of mental disorders a heart. It's not like something that comes around.
Mm-hmm.
So you really have to be qualified to get the heart. So they meet as a team. June 1st, I go get the debridement out. My blood type, because of my blood type, to get a heart, because of the level I was at, I was like a level 1 near death.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I got put on the heart transplant list
Okay.
so quickly. It usually takes about 6 weeks to get that heart. So I'm planning to be in the hospital the whole summer. And so June 1st, I get the arm debridement, and June 2nd, they come in and they tell me that we got a heart for you. So now the next day, I get a heart transplant.
Wow.
So yeah, it was extremely crazy.
Sounds like somebody's looking out for you a little bit greater than yourself.
Think so, bro?
That's wild.
Wild. So I go in, man. It was like June 3rd. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning. They all come in. And you know, when you go for these surgeries, Sean, you're like, is this going to be it for me?
All right.
Like,
Am I going to wake
you know how
up?
many times I go through that? You know how many times I've gone through that? You know? But the surgery was a success, bro. I went through it, and I got a new heart. It's a young person's heart, they said. They believe that because of my discipline and the type of human being that I am, that I could live with this heart for 20 years. But at some point, I'm going to need another heart, dog, you know? And my life's different today. I have to take these medications that, like, cause side effects. You know, my feet burn a lot. I have a low white T count for the rest of my life. You know, I'm susceptible to getting sick. But with all that being said, my brother, none of that shit stopped me.
Right.
You know what I mean? I had a vision of my life in the hospital of what it was going to look like. I embraced where I was. I embraced my comeback. I actually was looking forward to this whole year and the process of rebuilding myself and constantly just focusing on my growth. I don't pay attention to, like, all the other stuff, the doctor's appointments. Like Tuesday, I have to go on Tuesday next week, and I go in awake. I don't take any medication, and while I'm wide awake, they go in my neck and they take 3 pieces of my heart out. And I sign a waiver saying that I could die.
Right.
Every month. We're almost done, which is good. I only got another, after this one more, and then it's every year. They do it mostly out of the blood. But my point is, most people don't have the life that I have. Who gives a fuck? I'm still going to continue to fucking win in this shit. I'm not going to lose, dude. Nothing's going to stop me. And I believe the reason is because I've constantly, all I do is invest in me. Myself, God, and others. And as long as I keep doing that, it's just going to keep getting better and better, brother. Yeah. You know? When I was in there, I met this kid, Nick Santasano, bro. He's phenomenal fucking guy, bro. I love him so much. I joined this group last year of, like, entrepreneurs and high achievers and stuff, and he was one of our speakers. And this dude he was born with a defect, man. He's got no legs. He's got one arm. He's one of the fucking freest people I ever met in my life. And he told me, he said, Frank, and he's fucking killing it in life. He's a mindset coach. He's one of Tony Robbins' coaches.
I've been following him ever since you
Great
put him on
fucking
my
guy,
radar,
dude. Great guy.
Wild.
Great guy. He said, Frank, what is the gift in what you're going through, and what are you going to become because of it? And I still as shit. I told him, I'm like, Nick, I'm going to have to use this because it's transformed my life so much, dude. Mm-hmm. Every penny I spent on that group was worth it just to hear those fucking words, because I took that mindset the entire time that I was in that hospital, and it's been my mindset the entire time since I've been out of the hospital.
Yeah.
What's the gift in this, and what am I going to become? Well, the gift in this shit, Sean, is that One, I'm awake to how precious life is. Most of us have an idea that we're all gonna die, but I fucking know I'm gonna die. So time's short, so go live abundantly. Who gives a fuck what anyone thinks or says? Go create the fucking life that you want, because it's your life and you're the only one living it, so who gives a fuck about everyone else?
Right.
What everyone else thinks or opinions. So that is a gift for me, because for the first time in my life, I literally have no fear and could give two shits about what anyone thinks about me. If you're meant to be in my life, you're gonna be.
Yeah.
That means you're supposed to be in my life. If you don't like what I have to say, then you're not meant to be in my life. So it's I'm indifferent to either one, you know? But there's no more fear. Getting out, doing stuff like this, speaking on big stages, writing a book and putting my life out there. Like, I have no fear.
Yeah.
We're in a fucking dream. So create the dream that we want to live in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's my message, man. Like, my message is like, fucking constantly invest in yourself. Develop a human being that could withstand anything by constantly investing in yourself, even death, and looking it in the fucking face, slapping it, and coming out and saying, you know what? I'm still gonna fucking win.
Yeah.
Nothing's stopping me. Only lessons, only growth, only evolution and elevation. That's my focus in life. All the other shit, the doctors worry about.
Yeah.
All of the medication, they worry about. Every week I go get labs done. So, like, at least I know. Like, I know when I'm going to die, kind of. Most people don't have an idea. I have a team of 5 nurses that I could call 24/7 that work with me.
Right.
You know?
Bro, it's, working, we'll just use the gym, for example, you know what I mean? Like, working with people over these years, you tend to see a lot of people will let any obstacle stop them. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
They go on vacation, they had to work late, they didn't get enough sleep, they're underage, like whatever it is. They got their girlfriend broke up with them, boyfriend, whatever. And it's any little excuse. And, for me, the gym is a good metaphor for my life, because the way I show up in the gym is oftentimes how I'm showing up in life, right?
Absolutely. Same way.
I don't fucking miss a day. I'm never fucking late.
I'm with it.
You know what I mean? I'm happy to be in there every day. There's so much of it that translates, and it's something that's from day one has been non-negotiable. Like, this is what I fucking do. And so to see that side of the coin, you know what I mean? And then to see someone like yourself who, there's a lot of people that a fucking rolled ankle stop them from going to the gym for a week, but this motherfucker gets a goddamn heart transplant. You know what I mean? Laying in bed for countless weeks and months, all these things, not knowing the mental anguish of going in that, having to sit there and think about your own mortality with your child, your wife, what's going to be there when you're gone, what kind of legacy have you left. Bro, so much that uncertain, and you did not let it fucking deter you.
Nothing.
You know what I mean? So I couldn't agree with you more, bro. Somebody doesn't like what you think, what you got to say, how you present it, fuck them, bro.
That's
like,
exactly right, bro.
You know what I mean? And, dude, I couldn't agree with you more. And I wish, it's like, look at this country, right? A tragedy had to happen, 9/11 happens, and then, in my lifetime, I've never seen more
Love,
American pride and love and come togetherness and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And then you look at the country now, it's the polar opposite. And so I wonder, dude, like, I don't want to sound like the angry old guy, but like the generations coming up, like, what life is made to be easy now. You know what I mean? Bro, I couldn't tell you how to get home to fucking Austin from here if you fucking paid me, if I didn't have this goddamn phone and pull up Google Maps. It makes me sit there and think, like, I was alive before cell phones. I was alive before Google Maps. How the fuck did we get anywhere?
You remember phone numbers, right?
Dude, I couldn't tell you my wife. You could pay me $1 billion. I could not tell you my wife. I couldn't even tell you the first thing. I couldn't tell you the area code, dude. I have no idea. But life is so easy now, and it's like, man, like, luckily you already had the character and the tenacity to fucking know the mindset you needed to be in. But it's like, man, if people don't go through some adversity and stuff like that, when some real shit pops off, man, like, I hope people are like prepared and ready, because you had a little cough. You had no idea you were going into the fucking what that would truly end up becoming. And for somebody who hasn't prepared themselves in life with that, or have that type of mindset, that will fucking crumble them. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And so, bro, like, you need to get out and speak that message loud and fucking proud anywhere you fucking can.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because people need to hear that shit, because it might not register to them now, but when they start going through some shit, they're going to think of it like, oh, I heard that dude Frank on that podcast. That motherfucker didn't let a fucking heart transplant stop him from showing out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I had a client. I've told this story on the podcast before, but it's one of the most powerful things I've ever witnessed. I had a young girl. She was I think when I met her, she was in treatment. She was only 17 years old, and her father was dying. He was in the process of dying, but she knew going back to her hometown would be death for her. She knew it was waiting, nothing to do with the dad, but just drugs.
Right.
Her
The
crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's getting out of treatment. She knows she's on the right path, but dude, she's 17 years old. She's a baby. She has no life experience, but she had enough to know if I go back there, I'm going to die.
Right.
If I stay here, I have a chance. But my family and everybody's pulling me back there because my father's going to die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so just thinking it like, dude, 17 years old, I don't know if I could have handled that right there. And so couple weeks go by, and we have a session one morning, and she was my first session of the day. It's bright and early. I think it was 7 a.m. She gets out of her car, and as soon as she got out of her car, standing out front waiting for her, and I look at her, and I knew something wasn't right as soon as I saw her. And I walked up, and I was like, hey, are you all right? What happened? She goes, my dad died last night. And I was like, what are you doing here? Like, why? You don't need to be here. She goes, I told you I was going to be here. And I was just like, whoa.
Beautiful.
Yo. For every motherfucking client that I've had that just felt like hitting snooze or didn't feel like waking up that day or whatever fucking happened, they worked late last night. Like, yo, if that didn't stop her, if that didn't stop you, then what else? What are we talking about?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You got excuses and stuff like that. So luckily I've been around people like you and people like her and had my own experiences where I know like what needs to happen or what's truly going to happen to me if it doesn't.
Absolutely. And I feel like it's embrace the fucking pain, man.
Mm-hmm.
Don't run from it. Get a reward from it.
Yeah.
Work through it. You always become wiser on the other side of it.
Right.
Always.
Dude,
Always.
Nothing good in this life comes easy.
Nothing, bro.
The most
Especially anything in life is hard. Dude, even in business, like I've been punched in my face so many times. I've gotten screwed over. There is no elevator to the top, bro. It's a stair and it's a grind and it's fucking hard. Nothing in life that's worth anything is easy, brother.
right?
You know?
Dude, you look back at anybody. Look back at your life. The hardest things you've been through, the fucking physically, mentally, all that stuff. Those are the stories you're most proud to tell.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I'll tell stories from basic training all day. I'm not telling you stories about when I was stateside, stationed at Fort Hood and stuff like that. Like, no, it's like that's what brings us together. Going through that adversity together, going through these hardships together.
Absolutely.
That's what brings us all together. And I wish people got out more and experienced that to truly understand it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, brother. Yeah.
So, dude, we're how far now from the heart transplant are we?
9 months.
You're 9 months out?
9 months out, yeah, June 3rd. So, yeah.
So what is life? You told me you're taking medicines, keeping up on that, but what do workouts look like now? What does life look like now?
I work as soon as I got out of the hospital. I put a whole gym in my house because I wasn't able to go to the gym. So I put a whole gym in my house, and I love the gym. I did go to the gym the other day for the first time, which was cool. But I like working out in my house, and I love it. So as soon as I came out, man, it was just walking because I had to get the skin graft surgery in July because they did the debridement. So when I came out, I had a wound vac on my arm. So I could talk about this too, which is, I didn't even get into this. So I got the wound vac on my arm. Now when they changed
What is a wound vac?
It's a vacuum that sucks and keeps it from being infected.
Okay.
Because that was the main goal. So it's like a vacuum that stays on you. I had to carry a backpack with a machine on me for a month after, okay? So I couldn't do any upper body when I got out. So I was only able to do, because when I got out of the hospital, I was still very shaky. So like when I would like walk down steps, I would shake, or if I would sit down, my body would tremble. And so like I was doing 5-pound dumbbells with the backpack and the wound vac, and I'm doing 10 squats. Because I used to bench 445. That was my bench press. But my 445 was 10 reps with 5-pound dumbbells. You know what I'm saying? Same mindset. Different result, but same mindset.
Yep.
It ain't about the result, bro. It's about the process.
Yeah.
Fall in love with the fucking process, dog.
You just said
the
it.
results come. So that's where my mind was. 5 pounds, then we'll go to 10. Now I'm squatting 225 for 10. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Start with 1 pull-up. Now I'm doing 15.
Right.
Start with 10 pounds on the bench. Now I'm doing 225.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Bro, I say it nearly every day, and it's about falling in love with the process.
Yes.
When I was doing all my running and ultra marathons and everything like that, I love the outcome. I love doing well at races. I love beating people. I love winning races. But if I didn't win or place, then I was just like, oh, I feel like I failed. I just ran 100K. I just did 62 miles. How the fuck could I feel like I failed?
You versus you.
But the gym, I fell in love with the process. There's no real goal. You know what I mean? No. Like, do I want to get bigger? Do I want to put on more muscle? Yeah, that's a byproduct, but I love the fucking process. And so getting people to understand when they come in, it's like, well, I don't really like working out. Well, it's like, you don't know how. I don't like doing shit I don't know how to do either. Luckily, I became obsessed with this in a way and figured out, like, I don't know how to do this, so I'm going to make sure I know how to do it better than anybody. You know what I mean? Not saying I'm the best, but that's the way I look at it.
Sean, the gym, first of all, go back to my story. If I wasn't in the shape I was in, I'm dead. If I didn't have the muscle I had on me, I'm dead. The doctors all said, if you weren't in the shape you're in, you're dead. So that's one reason why. There's no downside to working out. It's all bullshit. You're just lazy. You don't want to be the best version of yourself. You know? I'm sorry, dude. Like, if you have a parent, especially, you want to walk around like a fat fuck, I'm sorry, dude. Your kid's like, I can't do it. I got a kid. I'm not doing it, dude. I'm going to be the best version of myself. I'm going to make a ton of fucking money. I'm going to help a ton of fucking people. I'm not going to be afraid to say, that's the other thing in our industry. Oh, I don't talk about, no, it's about abundance, bro. Your life is, the more money I make, the more fucking people I can help.
Yeah.
Like, it's like this like weird thing about with recovery sometimes, and like not like abundant in that way.
Yeah.
And I find it really gross, to be honest with you, you know? But, you know, the gym is, going back to the gym is taught me so many life lessons. And the fact of, even what I'm going through now, delayed gratification. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm putting in work every fucking day, and I wasn't seeing no results.
If you don't believe the words that are coming out of his mouth about the gym right now, you don't go to the gym. Anybody that goes to the gym gets this and understands what an impact it can have on all areas of your life.
Business, because then you start a business, you're not making money for a few years. You're putting in 60 to 80 hours a week of work to make no money.
Right.
Same with the gym,
Yep.
right? The gym, it's like, what are you putting in your body after the gym?
Yep.
How much fucking rest are you getting? There's a whole process to it. And the process is discipline and consistency.
Right.
And the more disciplined and consistent we are, the better our life's going to be.
Hands down.
Period. I've never met anybody that's so disciplined and consistent that their life sucked. You know what I mean?
I know exactly.
And I think, especially
when I was disciplined and inconsistent, that was when I was most miserable and most fucked up in my life.
Right, and fuck my feelings. That's what I always say. Like this morning, I had egg whites and fruit. I'm sick of egg whites and fruit. I've had egg whites and fruit for the past 9 months every morning. Fuck my feelings.
You're doing what you got to do.
I'm doing what I got to do. 1, I need it for my heart. 2, I like how I feel on the food because it's not for taste. It's for fucking results.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm about results, bro. I want to continuously see results in my life, dude. I want to continuously grow. I want to continuously learn. I want to continuously help. The more that it was, my boy says it. He says the high tide rises all boats. You know what I'm saying? So as I elevate, so does everyone around me, dude. Why would you not want to?
Right. Yeah.
You know? My swords were so sharp, I faced death, slapped it in its fucking face, and I'm out here still fucking winning. There's no difference of me or you or anybody else. It's just about, do you have a vision? Are you willing to make the non-negotiable agreements with yourself and show up despite how you feel, despite what's going on around you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, fuck that. I'm dying. Who cares? I got to walk. I got to do squats. I got to get stronger for the next surgery.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get
And
it.
the gym taught me that shit, bro. The gym taught me that shit. There was days you don't want to train. I didn't want to train this morning. I got up early. I fucking trained arms.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit I don't want to do in life.
Right.
I traveled this country to make our company what it is. I didn't want to fucking do that and be away from my family. But that's what was required in order to get the result that we were looking for.
Right.
You know?
No, I get it.
Yeah.
Dude, I just had I missed Valentine's Day and my wife's birthday to go on a trip for stuff with the podcast.
It happens.
And it's like, I have a goal with this thing, and like, we're going to have to go through uncomfortabilities to get where we need to be, you know what I mean, to go through that.
Absolutely, bro.
And being willing to do it.
Absolutely. You know?
So by the time this episode comes out, you're gonna have a book out on the market. Let's talk about the book. What's it called? Where are we gonna be able to find it?
Yeah.
What's it about?
It's called Embrace Abundance. It's a journey through faith, family, health, hustle, and purpose. And that's kind of what I talk about in it, is my 5 pillars of pouring into your faith, pouring into your family, your health, your hustle, being, you know, whatever your business is, and then your purpose. And I feel like when we do that, we could embrace all the abundance this life has to offer. So with the book, we're also going to do a journal. So a 30-day journal that people could embrace abundance too.
That's dope.
So it's cool, and we'll see where it goes, man. I'm starting to do some more speaking now. I think I'll probably get more speaking engagements once the book's out. I'm looking to release it May 8th. It's in final edit right now. May 8th was the day that I was rushed to the hospital and almost died. So we're looking to do it May 8th or June 3rd. Those are going to be the 2 dates. But I got some speaking engagements coming up. I'm speaking at a Neuro Hero Conference with Dr. Rob Kelly and Adam Joblin in San Antonio in April. I have a few other podcasts that I'm doing. And so, yeah, I'm just looking forward to putting this out.
None of them dope as this one.
Definitely not as dope as this one.
Kid.
No, it's true.
I'm kidding. This will come out way after you're on those, so they won't be mad. Dude, it's beautiful to see. You know what I mean? We're talking earlier about it was either a podcast before this one, but like, are you okay? Like, you got sober, cool. Like, are you okay in life now? Like, you're just gonna work a little 9 to 5?
No.
But to see somebody, you know what I mean? Like, I feel that I'm doing it to the best of my ability in my life, but to see somebody else feel that they have that higher purpose, where their story needs to get out there, they understand the impact that it can have on people, the way it inspires people, and then to be vulnerable, to put yourself out there, to talk about things you're not proud of, but to also talk about what you and your family have been through with this health stuff. Like, dude, people need to fucking hear that, because we're talking about people willing to give up and willing to quit. You know what I mean? They need to hear a story about somebody that didn't, what their life looks now. But looking at you right now, there's not a person anywhere that'd be like, oh yeah, 9 months ago he had a heart transplant. Nobody's gonna fucking think that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so to see somebody like get involved with that passion and fucking chase it is a beautiful thing, dude.
Yeah.
And I want to do anything I can with my platform to be able to help you do that.
I
and so,
appreciate you, brother. Same
brother,
here, dog.
I'm proud of you.
I love you, dude. For
Love you
real.
too,
It's real
brother.
shit. Yeah.
So I got a fun question for you now, right? So hypothetically speaking, tonight you're walking out for the UFC heavyweight champion of the world, or you're walking out for boxing heavyweight champion of the world, whatever you want. What is your walkout song? What's that one song that gets you ready to fucking go?
Oh, wow. Fuck. The one song.
Gotta pick one.
It is probably The Game by Motorhead.
Really? You went away from hip hop?
Yeah.
I thought for sure you were
Yeah,
going
no. Like, if I'm gonna, like, dude, if I'm gonna, when I used to put up, like, the weight,
He got excited. He liked that.
when I put up that weight,
yeah.
when I'm going to battle, it's like, yeah, it's that, dog. Or maybe Protect Your Neck. I don't know. It might be some Protect Your Neck.
Right.
It might be Protect Your Neck. It could be Protect Your Neck, though.
So you're from New York.
Yeah.
I gotta ask you this. I don't want the 5 greatest. I just want your 5 favorite. Your 5 favorite
Hip hop artists.
5 favorite MCs of all time.
Wow. Definitely, we're gonna put Wu up there.
All right.
Wu-Tang.
So we're just gonna say them as one. I need 5 individual rappers.
5 individual rappers.
rappers.
I got Redman's my boy, so I gotta put him on the top 5.
See, what
And
num-
regardless, I've been
What number? See, 5, 1.
Fuck. Nas, Jay-Z, Biggie, Redman. Fuck. That's hard, man. 5. Let me see the 5th one.
There's so many. There's no
I
wrong
know,
answer.
bro. Method Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thought maybe you'd go Big L.
Big L was dope too.
Um,
He didn't make enough albums though. He died too early.
You
Neither
know-
did Biggie though.
You know who? I feel like doesn't get talked about enough for his early shit, but
Even
was
Ghostface. I love Ghostface, bro.
was a fucking problem. Is fucking Cannabis.
Cannabis was dope.
Cannabis
the Lost
was
Boys
so-
with Red and that's a
One of
dope
my
verse.
favorite hip
it's
Beast from
fucking
the
dope.
East.
Yeah, dope.
One of the dopest hip hop tracks ever.
That's a one I might come out to.
You can't go wrong.
That beat is sick.
Everything about it.
Yeah.
But Redman spits one of the craziest verses ever in that, and then fucking Cannabis comes over the top and fucking remixes the whole verse. It was like, holy shit.
I know.
But dude, I'm jealous. You grew up in New York in like the golden fucking
era of hip hop.
The golden era.
I know.
Wow.
I know. And I grew up on the block of Def Jam.
Right.
And then I moved to Staten Island, and all Wu's brothers, like Shaheem the Rugged Child was like underlink of Wu, but he was in my gym class, and he would be on Hot 97 like at night, like, oh yo, I'm going on Funk Flex or Angie Martinez to like interview, and it was cool because like I was growing up like, and Staten Island was the unforgotten borough,
right?
You know what I mean? But it's when Wu came out, it was the borough because Wu was like the best.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When they came out, and I went to school with all their brothers and stuff, like Raekwon's brother Kay. He went to high school with us. My boy John, he wound up being the roadie. He was his manager for Raekwon.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not a small island. It's only 9 miles, so like everybody kind of knows each other. Yeah.
The one of my favorite hip hop documentaries is that Stretch and Bobbito.
Oh, dope, bro. I saw Stretch and Bobbito with Eminem before Eminem even came out. Bro, Eminem was on Staten Island at the Lane with Royce the 5'9" in a small little venue. He didn't even have his the Slim Shady album LP out yet.
Really?
And Stretch and Bobbito with the DJs.
No shit.
Yeah.
Bro, I watched that documentary, and you watch all these dudes, bro, young, hungry, just showing up trying to get on.
He put on Jay-Z and everything. The one with Foxy. Everybody. Yeah, bro. That's where you would find stuff. Hot 97, Stretch and Bobbito. You knew when the new stuff was coming out.
Dude,
there was no internet.
As soon as Ohio was like a melting pot for hip hop. You know what I mean? All we had was like Bone. That was our only like hometown people at the time. And then I would go in the CD store and just sit there and go through, and I know like
the old DJ Clue tapes.
Well, see, I would never. Yeah, there's the professional 1, 2, 3, but
the old ones that he used to remake, remix.
So only when I would go up to New York to visit my dad, and I would be upstate, but I'd get the new fucking Dipset mixtape, the new D-Block mixtape, and all that, and then take that back to Ohio and be like, hey, look what I got. I got that shit. Yeah. But dude, I used to just be a student of the game where I'd just go through CDs, and it's like, all right, I fuck with rap a lot. I know I like Scarface, so all right, let me try Do or Die. Let me try and just pick stuff up. But my heart was always with New York, lyrical, fucking. I want to hear some spitters.
Yeah, it's different now though. The hip hop scene's changed so much. But back then everything was from New York. Right. That's where it originated. We didn't even listen to hip hop in California, like Tupac. I never listened to Tupac till later.
Really?
We're like, fuck California.
Right.
New York didn't like Cal. Right. We didn't listen to nothing except New York.
Right.
You know?
my wife and I just went on a little vacation, and she let me control we had the little golf cart cruising around the beach, and she let me control the music the whole time. So it was nothing but like 95, 96, 97 era rap and all that. And I'm just like, this is life right here. Yeah. Cruising the beach, listening to this. Yeah. Got my wife. It was good shit.
Yeah.
So the way we like wrapping up the podcast, right, is that you've told your story. People kind of know who you are, but I want them to get to know you more as a person, right? So if you'd be willing to take a look into your camera over here and maybe throw out some I am statements that let them know who Frank Parisi is.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. I am a person in long-term recovery. I am a father. I am a husband. I am a caring, giving person. I am a person about growth. I am a person about love. I'm a person about helping and making a positive impact on our society and humanity as a whole.
You're a motherfucking survivor too, brother.
Survivor, dog. I am a fucking survivor.
Brother, I can't thank you enough for taking the time.
Yeah, we're going to do some shit together, my brother. Dude, that I know for a fact.
I have no doubt.
Yeah.
I have no doubt, bro. I look forward to having you back on after the book comes out, after you do some of the speaking things.
Yeah, definitely.
Can't wait to hear about it.
We'll do some speaking together, man.
Do it. I'm in.
Yeah.
Love you, brother. Thank you so much, man.
Bro.